Let me introduce myself. I am Canola Scott, the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. At this time, I'll ask you to please stand and join me in a word of prayer. Father God, our fathers, once again, that we're bowed in our presence, thanking thee for all the good and perfect gifts thou bestowed upon us. Thank you, Jesus. Our Father, we thank you for life, health, and strength. Thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning and go about our daily occupations. Yes. Our Father, we pray a blessing for everybody that's in attendance tonight, but not only everybody that's in attendance, reflects the entire world. Yes. Yes, Lord. Our Father, we ask you to come and to be in this meeting and to that it may go as you want it to be. Yes, Lord. And our Father, we'll be so careful to give you all the glory and the praise. Yes. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. At this time, I'll ask the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission to introduce themselves and tell you what district that they represent before we get into business.
My name is Stephanie Harvin, and I represent District 3.
I'm Cynthia Fortson, and I am elected by the Commission Board, P&Z Board.
Jennifer Bradley, Vice Chair, District 1. Lee Mitchell, District 2.
William Smith, District 4.
And we're missing Mr. Bruce Gandy, who has, I believe, District 5, and he had some surgery today, so he's not able to attend. And we wish him the best. Before I get started tonight, I want to congratulate one of our members for receiving an award as the Chamber Person of the Year, Ms. Harvey. So I thank her so much for her hard work and everything that she does. As the first order of business this evening, I'm required to read a few statements regarding zoning process. If you have any questions after I have finished, please raise your hand and I will try to answer. Zoning directly affects the property rights. These include the rights of property owners to the enjoyment and the use of their property, and the right of adjacent property owners and the general public not to be unreasonably harmed by specific land use. Tonight is the first of two public hearings that will be held. A second public hearing before the Madison County Board of Commissioners will be held at this location at 6 p.m. Can somebody help me with the date? March the 4th. Attendance by applicants and their representatives is not required at that public hearing, but your attendance is encouraged in case questions come up that I may not be able to answer. Order of business. As an order of business tonight, first I will introduce the applicants, and then the zoning administrator will give her comments. Then the applicant or the agent will come forward, state their name and address, and sign in, and then state the reasons for their request. You may provide any information or documentation supporting the application. Next, the planning and zoning members will have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions to clarify their understanding of the issues related to the application. Afterwards, the floor will be open for public comment, those that are opposed and those that are for the particular rezone request. After you have had the opportunity to speak, the applicant will be invited back to the podium to rebut any negative comments and answer any questions expressed by other speakers. The Madison County Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommending board only, consisting of concerned citizens who are appointed to 4-year terms by the county commissioners. We're a fact-finding body and visit the properties under consideration. Does any of the planning and zoning members need to recuse themselves tonight or with any of our regional requests?
Yes, Chairman, I believe it's 4, 5, and 6, Tracy, is that right? Yes. On the new agenda, I will recuse myself on those two.
Barbara has recused herself on items 4, 5, and 6. Anyone else? If not, we will go ahead and enter into the business tonight. I believe number 1 is Fred and Marla Hall, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Fred and Marla Hall are requesting to rezone their 5.36 acres from A2 to AR to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations and to reduce the lot size to approximately 4 acres, with the remaining acreage to be absorbed into their adjoining property identified as tax map 27, parcel 173. Property is located at 0 Booger Hill Road in Danielsville on map 27, parcel 173-01 in District 1. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, the second one corresponds with
All
the
right,
first.
go right ahead.
And the second one is Fred and Marla Hall are requesting to rezone their 7.65 acres from A2 to AR to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations and to allow the absorption of the acreage from adjoining property identified as tax map 27, parcel 17301, to slightly adjust the property lines to allow an existing driveway easement to be on the property. Property is located at 3771 Booger Hill Road in Danielsville on map 27, parcel 173 in District 1.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tracy. Mr. Hall, anything you want to add to that?
No, basically, these were cut out back in the '67, I believe, two tracks. The previous owner built a house down here. And rather than using the easement and the cul-de-sac to enter that lower part, they cut a driveway through the top part. So, as was stated, we're going to rezone, we want to rezone this in order to bring them into compliance because they're zoned A1 now. So they're going to be zoned AR, and then eventually we're going to survey and cut the blue section there, something like that, so that the driveway that serves the bottom piece of property is on the bottom piece of property, rather than cutting through that top one.
All right, anything else? Any members of the board have questions for Mr. Hall?
I have one. Do you know yet, you're planning to build a house on the property outlined in blue at some point, right?
Sometime my daughter would like to do that sometime.
It's probably premature, but do you know yet how you will access that directly off Booger Hill Road or off of private?
It'll probably be either, whatever the county says, because we can come off Booger Hill, or she just may decide to come off the same easement.
I asked that because I believe we discussed this in our business meeting, that being a private drive, there's already 2 residences being served off that private drive, and our new ordinance might require to upgrade that road, that private drive, to pave it.
Except if it's immediate family, it says you don't.
Right.
So,
And there's 3.
oh, there'll be 3 now? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Excuse me.
So it might be to your advantage to access it off Booger Hill
Oh,
Road.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I thought since it was existing, it's already sit there existing, why would that matter?
Because it would be adding 1 more residence. So it wouldn't matter until you added that 3rd residence.
I see. Well, it was set up to access that top part. I mean, I don't care, we'll cut her driveway if she does, she'll cut her driveway off Booger Hill, it'd be safer to come off, the current easement. So I thought it would be grandfathered in.
No.
No, I tried.
I just wanted you to be aware of that.
All right, yeah, we'll come off Booger Hill. Okay.
Any further questions? Thank you, Ms. Hall. All right, we'll open the public hearing if anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request. Anyone here wants to speak in favor of this rezone request?
Yes.
Anyone here wants to speak in opposition? Okay, if it's okay, I think the board will take these up as one item. Is there any clarification? You want me to say anything else about that?
No.
If not, hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board and I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this rezone request.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve this rezone request. Any comments, questions?
Is there any condition that it be absorbed? Or,
No, because they're both big enough
okay.
as is, so that's fine.
Am I taking them up in one motion?
Stephanie?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Hall, this is approved. I would, again, we're recommending board, so, on March the 4th, may want to show up for the commissioners meeting. Robert Thompson. Mr. Thompson.
Okay.
Robert Thompson.
All right, I don't believe I've seen him, but, Robert Thompson is requesting to rezone his 21 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for his daughter. Property is located at 3238 Arnold Bottoms Road in Colbert on map 71, parcel 70 in District 5.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, are you here or any representative for Mr. Thompson? It is required that you show up for the public hearing, so therefore, we will consider this a withdrawal. All right. Next, Mr. Gary Harbin, I believe you have 3. So if you want to come up and to, tell us what you need. And Ms. President?
Yes, sir. All right, Gary Harvin, applicant for Sandra Yarborough, is requesting to rezone her 2 acres from A2 to AR to allow a portion of land from the adjoining property, map 54, parcel 19, to be absorbed into this tract to enlarge the parcel. Property is located at 678 Veterans Drive in Danielsville on map 54, parcel 20 in District 2.
All right. Harvin. You have anything to add to that?
They're different landowners. This one.
No. Yeah, I think we've got one, I think we can do 4, 5, and 6 together unless Gary knows the reason we should.
No.
Okay, that'll be fine.
All right with you?
Yeah, there's more to the puzzle.
Yeah. Do you want me to read the rest of them?
Yeah,
while we're-
or let him go through it. We fine?
Rob Peter, Kim Paul.
Yeah, so we ended up with, I think 16 acres total out here. Ms. Yarborough owns, a 2-acre tract here. Ms. Chandler and Ms. Adams are selling the property, and so they're selling 2 acres, additional acres for, a buffer, to Ms. Yarborough. While doing that, we were also asking, these 2 tracts, proposed tracts are zoned, I think we're zoned A2 right now. And to bring them into conformance, we're proposing 2 6.09 acre lots. Currently, I think there's a 3-acre tract, a half-acre lot, and maybe a 10-acre tract mixed in there somewhere as the current tax parcel configuration.
And I can pull up the other site plan for the others, and
Okay.
it might show them. I'm not sure if you used the same one or not.
Yeah, I think it was the same.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
same one.
Yeah, I mean, currently there's, 1 parcel, 2 parcels, 3 parcels, a 10-acre parcel, a 4-acre parcel, and a half-acre parcel that are A2, so we're kind of cleaning things up.
So they want to take 2 acres on the other and make that 4 acres.
Yes, ma'am. They'll be enlarging their property.
Okay, before, want to go before.
Yep.
And then, what's left on other two?
6.09 and 6.09. Yep.
Any other questions or?
So there's a home, on track one, there's a home.
Yeah, I've been there since like 78, I think, and driveway's been built over the property line, so they had somewhat of a mutual understanding when they were gonna sell the property. They worked with them to clean that up as well, so.
Are there any dwellings on track 2 and 3?
No, everything's vacant there.
Does that mean they're gonna do it evening, or they gonna just do another?
No, so they've got road frontage on those other two, plenty of road frontage on Veterans Drive. The 4-acre tract already had its own road frontage. It's actually gaining road frontage, by adding that. Yes, ma'am.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Gary. Yep. All right, we'll open the public hearing. Does anyone wants to speak for this rezone request? Anyone want to speak in favor of it? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the, board. We will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve, do I need to?
Have a condition. You know, I've been thinking about that. We actually have that, you know, we just came to our attention, my attention recently, that 14.3.110. So we probably don't have to actually articulate that condition of the making of new plats because it's already in the zoning ordinance anyway.
Yes, sir.
And we have a motion by Cynthia. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, that these three, items 4, 5, and 6 be approved together.
Do we have to state that the 4 acres?
No, that's what I was just saying. I think it's already covered in the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And Tracy and Christopher are saying, yes, that's right.
All right.
It
So,
always makes me feel right.
any questions or comments? If not, we will vote. Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 And Stephanie recused herself. So, those are approved. All right. Thank you all.
Can I ask a question on, got through so fast, I didn't get a chance on Mr. Thompson's thing that you, said was withdrawn?
Yes.
So he has to, if he wants to do it, has to submit again,
Yes.
and we will be, the people around him will be informed when he submits again?
Yes.
Thank you for answering.
Okay, all right. Okay. Item number 7, if I can, Alicia.
Alicia Elder.
That's okay.
Applicant for her mother, Cora Laverne Hanley, is requesting to rezone her 4.2 acres from AR to R1 to split the property into approximately 2 equal tracts, to sell one and retain the other. The property is located at 181 Hanley Road in Hull on map 27, parcel 63 in District 1.
All right, yes, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm okay, how are you?
Good. You have anything to add to that, or you want to tell us anything?
No, the only difference that might come up, will be where we were talking about, selling and keeping one, we may end up selling both. I live on one part, which when my mother passed away, that it would come to me or part of my inheritance, or I'd have to buy it. But it's according to what, we've had it appraised. And, I don't know, right now, we're gonna be able to keep our home. We may have to sell both parts, because at our age, we're not gonna go off in a big old jump debt. That it's, because it's worth more. And if I'd been not younger, it'd be in, something that, we lived there close to 40 years, but, so we may end up selling both parts. But we want to divide it into two to, just in case. Like he goes my family on that, my brothers and all, what they want to do, so. My mom went into a home, so we gotta keep her, make sure she's safe there, that's how we're doing it.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board for Ms. Lady?
Is that shop building, is it on the property trying to, rezone, or they shop right there on the corner? Is that on this property, or is it going back?
It's on mom's property too. I think when you're talking about on Family Road,
Yeah.
yes, my brother's, he's in the same situation I am, keeps his property, builds a shop on there. Like sort of same kind of conditions I was in, it would be either bought or you would inherit it.
So the shop's not on the part you want to rezone?
Yes, all included on that 4 acres.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a shop.
Go ahead.
I wanna make sure there's no connection here. There's 4 more acres, right? As well.
Yeah, it's across the road.
Across Hanley.
Yeah, that's mama's too, but that's not
Okay, but
included
that's not
in it.
affected here.
Mm-mm. It's fine the way it is. The only difference with this is because mainly because I live on it. There's 2 homesteads, mama's and my house. And we've lived, like I said, we've lived there close to 40 years, me and my husband now. And I can't afford to buy mama's house and absorb all 4 of it. And now since it's been appraised, I don't think I'll be able to afford my own, so we may end up selling both tracts instead of keeping one and selling the other.
Is the majority of the property of this 4 acres behind the house?
Mama's house?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's like mama's house. I can really, tell you.
Flip it back to the other.
Yeah, still may not help me.
I may can pull it, the Q Public sheet.
This dog breaking and stuff.
Is that what you were wanting to
Yeah,
say?
it's like mom's house is right here, and the little shop is talking about right there. My brother actually lives right there on his little spot, and then my house is down here. My access to, Williams Wilson Road, my spot's right there. And mama's house is, her access is on Family Road. They're all, yeah, just curved around. My brother, he's not, actually my uncle used to own that part.
Do you actually know how you was gonna split that?
Yeah, it's like 2 points.
I mean, you got a lot of buildings on 4 acres.
Ma'am,
I said there's a lot of buildings on 4 acres.
yeah, there's my house, yes, that's my house. I'm trying to remember. Yes, there's, mama's house, and then there's the barn, and then there's my house, and then there's my brother's shop.
I think what she's asking is, do you know, do you have an idea of?
Yeah, we, sort of measured it off to like, go behind, like the little lot I'm on runs up next to my brother's spot. So there's already a line there where that was at earlier. And like his is in the, that's not what I'm looking at, but like his is in that little corner. So to make to even it up, it was coming up like right beside my brother's property and going behind. And like my property would touch that barn. And then mama's property would be the rest of it. I mean, her house would be the rest of it.
So everything will be accessed off of that one road, one
No,
driveway?
mama's goes on 181. The barn, the big barn you see is actually right behind my house. And then you can go, actually there's roads to cut, we can go right behind our house and we have a little road cut. We can go out mama's driveway, or we can go out Paul's driveway, or we can go out my driveway. It's the way.
But there's access on Henley and 180.
Yes, on Family Road 181, then on the 695 William Bush Road, yes.
Oh.
Our driveway's on it, and then mama's driveway's on the 181 Henley Road.
Oh.
Her house faces that road.
Any further questions? Thank you, ma'am. All right, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone present tonight wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone here wants to speak in opposition? Anyone here wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board and I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this rezone request. Any further comments or questions? Kenneth, go ahead.
If things haven't been complicated enough with R1s and agricultural character areas, and this one sits right beside a sizable, A1 property. I understand that there are R1s up and down 106, and the county commission is toying with the idea of adjusting AR from 4 acres back to 2 acres. So when this gets to them, it may change a little bit. But anyway, make a long story short, approving R1s next to an A1 to me is not in our comp plan. It's not consistent with our comp plan. I understand the situation with why this is being done, but I don't know, just back to the spot zoning R1s and a character area that's not appropriate continues to be an issue. So.
All right. Anyone else? No motion. Any second? Kenneth, I believe it's on you.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is approved. Now, but it has to go before the Board of Commissioners, so I do recommend that you show up on March 4th. All right, David and Deborah Heiser.
Okay. They are requesting a conditional use to allow the construction, I apologize, are requesting to rezone their 5 acres from A1 to R1 to allow an approximate 2 acre split to retain with the remaining 3 acres to be sold and absorbed into neighbors' adjoining A1 property. Property is located at 153 Highway 172 in Colbert on map 71, parcel 8B in District 5.
All right.
And Tracy, when we looked at this afternoon, it's actually, I think on the application, it's a portion. So it used to be rezoning that 2 acres.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Just making sure.
Good afternoon.
No, sir.
About 16 years ago, my wife and I purchased these 2 5-acre tracts from the Ventons. There was a 10-acre tract just before we purchased it, and my understanding was she divided it because of 2 daughters and for a 5-acre tract for each one, and then they decided to sell. For some reason, one was zoned residential and one was zoned agriculture. I don't know why. We have sold, or we are going to sell this tract that has our house on it currently, and we have a buyer that's interested in buying our house. They are concerned because it's been approved since we bought it that there's a neighborhood where all the backs of all the houses back up to the 5-acre tract that's still agricultural and not residential. So when he approached me about buying, he asked me if I was interested in selling him 3 additional acres just so that he could have a buffer. He's just afraid that, you know, he's out in the country and then all of a sudden he buys this and somehow they figure out a way to get to these 3 acres here and put homes on them. So that was his concern. So he asked me if he could buy 3 additional acres, so he would end up getting a total of 8. He also owns all the property around this. So what his plan is to absorb the residential and the 3 acres, do what he wants, and then we'll have the 2-acre tract
So we'll come in off of 172. We would like to, somewhere where this red line is here, come up with close to 2 acres so that we can put a new home here and continue to live on the 5-acre tract that will now become a 2-acre tract for us to build a small home on. Does that make sense? So, so this is 172. This is the easement. So you come in here, you come down, and there's a driveway that goes all the way to here. This is where the house is, right here. We want to build a house. There used to be a trailer there. We got rid of that trailer, so there was a septic tank and a well and everything right here. We removed all of that, and we want to build a house where this trailer was, and he wants all of this, and that's 8 acres to put with the house that's already there.
So the access off of 172, is it easier for both properties?
Yes, it is, and it is now. So there wouldn't be any change to the easement. Okay.
Questions from the board?
So your house is gonna back up to the neighborhood?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I'll have all those houses going up against mine, which I'm okay with. And so really, there's probably 50 or so residential homes in that neighborhood that back up to that property.
Right.
So really, you're just, if I don't sell him these 3 acres, I'm still gonna build my house on my 5 acres. But he, you know, he is very interested in getting that 3 additional acres just as a buffer zone, so that more houses are not, because I guess if it's residential already, then he could divide that, and then somebody could put homes on it without getting it rezoned. And so he's just worried that that's gonna happen.
well, there's no access from the neighborhood.
There won't be,
No, I mean right now.
well, there's lots for sale. I don't know if you can come in and use one of those lots and buy it connected to that 3 acres and come in through that neighborhood. You can't right now, but yeah, I think that's what his concern is.
Right, Stevie. Further questions? Yes.
Can you clear this up for me?
Yes, sir.
You've mentioned twice now that one of these parcels is zoned agricultural and one is zoned residential.
Right, one the house is on is already residential. It'd be nice if it was the other way around, I wouldn't be here.
Do we have those as A1s or?
So I think that's the one where keep up with the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had help with it. Like when we bought the house, it was 2 acres. We kept 5 acres out, paid cash for it, and they put the 5 acres with the mortgage. Then we refinanced it because one office had it still as a 10-acre lot. When they did the next mortgage, they threw the whole 10 acres in there because at one office it was still 10 acres and in another it was 5. So we had to get that cleared up. And I don't really know why they would put a 5-acre tract sandwiched in between, you know,
Try to pull them all in.
yeah.
That's his 36 acres. And then that's a 5-acre tract.
Yeah, so all this here has been, and so this little bit here is agriculture, and then this is all residential. So this little piece got squeezed in, I mean, no, and I don't even think it was meant to be that way. I don't know what happened when unless they had a plan that they made one agriculture and one residential, it just doesn't, but I wasn't there. So.
I think maybe when that happened, and I can't answer that question, but, you know, people chose
Yeah,
what they wanted to be.
Put a chicken in the house or something on there, or use it as agri, I don't know.
They chose what they wanted.
Yeah, that's what it was, but it just, now that I'm looking at it, all of that is zone residential, except that piece right there. And that's agriculture for some reason. And I can't split it unless it's changed to residential.
Since this is being joined with the 36 acres, just to the north of that, right? All this is going to be.
Well, what he wants to do is he has 36, then he'll have 5 that my house is on. And then he's got a small tract that goes
I'm sorry, I'll try to find that one.
Yeah, so he has a track here. Is that, am I looking at that right? 72, 172. Okay, so the easement is here. That's the line. So he has all of this, part of this, and he'll have all of this. So not sure. I know the 8 will go together as residential because the 5 is already residential, and he'll put his 3 with it. But his plan is to just put it all together. But my request is just for the 5-acre tract so that I can build on it.
And so I can put a little point of clarity. All right, so since it's just a portion, just a 2-acre portion, then that would leave it for an A1. So on here, I would recommend as a condition that it must be absorbed into the neighbor's already zoned A1 property.
So the 36 plus another 8 will be A1, all one parcel.
I just didn't know, since he doesn't own it yet, and I have to sell it to him, I gotta know before I do the sale if I can do this. So it's not a cart before the horse, but it's kind of close, and I didn't bring him, because I don't know, does he stand here and swear he's gonna do that? He told me that, that he wants to do that, and that's his goal, is to join his property all together. But, I can't make him come down here and do that, but I mean, that's his intention. So my request today is to take the 5 acres, make it a 2-3 split, and then he is adamant to me that he wants to merge it together and it be one property.
But there is a home on tract 1 already.
Whatever 157 is. 157 has the home on it already. 153 has nothing.
So when all this is joined together, even with the 36 total, the grand total, there will only be one home on it. There's no house. There is no home on the 36 acres.
No, and what he did is he had a builder come out and look at the big acreage and got the cost of putting in the driveway, getting back there and doing all that stuff. And then he just approached me. He's actually my son, Foss, and said, your son had mentioned that y'all might sell in the near future. Would you be interested in selling in the very near future? And I was like, well, sure. And so he made an offer on the home that we accepted. And then he said, I would like to get the 3 additional acres if possible, and then I'd like to join it all together so that it's protected, so that I don't have any encroachment from that neighborhood.
So all we're really concerned with is the 5 acres tonight.
Yes, sir.
We do, Christopher and I were coming to the same conclusion that Tracy just told you over there, that probably it is good to make a condition of combining the leftover 3 acres on this one, because it's going to be a different owner of that tract it's being combined with. So that person may not have the incentive to come in here and do his combination plat that our applicant does, unless we make it an explicit condition.
Well, the only thing that I would have a question about is what if the deal falls through and he don't sell them 3 acres?
Then it's a condition, and it does, then the condition's not met, and.
The condition just goes away.
No, the condition doesn't go away. The rezone is not effective because the condition's not met, and it plays back into what we already have in our zoning ordinance.
Somebody said something about Zing out the line. Is that a terminology?
So we can't have, well, I think sometimes it's referred to as a Z-bar, but I don't do the jargon. I'm just saying that we cannot have a 3-acre R1 tract, because that's the below the limit. A1 tract, because that's below the minimum. So what you're talking about, this rezone has to be conditional on that 3-acre remainder having a survey recorded within 6 months that shows it becoming part of the large A1 that's already there next to it.
All right, so when I got a quote for a survey, one quote for $1,800 was to rezone 153 into two tracts, a 3 and a 2. And then I got another, estimate from a guy that was $6,000, and he wanted to find every line, find the lines between the 3 and the 5 acre, the 3 and the 2 acre tract, draw that line, and then come in and survey the 5 acres that's already surveyed that has my house on it. And then, I mean, it just kept growing and growing, and all I'm trying to do is,
Well, all I can tell you is if you bring in a plat that shows a 3 acre parcel that's zoned A1, that plat will not be approved for recording, and this deal will not happen.
okay, so what I need to do is, when they approve this on the 2nd, he needs to come out and put in a request to rezone the 3 acres to the 5 acres to make it.
No, there's no rezone, it's just a survey.
Just a survey,
Yeah.
okay.
So you're gonna record a survey of your 2 acre R1 parcel,
Mhm.
and he's going to have to record a survey of his existing parcel encompassing the 3 acres that's left over of your 5 as a single A1 parcel.
And does that have to be submitted with a survey?
That's what I'm talking about.
Sure, okay.
Those are the 2 surveys.
So-
And those 2 surveys are gonna have to be submitted within 6 months of the Board of Commissioners meeting.
Right, so if I get both of those, we don't need to come back except for if I have it all done before the March 4th, is that?
No, you don't have to have the survey
You got
done.
6 months.
6 months from that, okay.
Yeah, you won't have to come back, you won't have to do anything except make sure those 2 surveys get recorded within 6 months of March 4th.
Now, the March 4th, you need to show
Yeah.
up so that you can explain, Commissioners, the same that you're explaining to us.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Okay? All right. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak for this particular rezone request?
I wouldn't mind speaking, I'm not sure if I'm for it or against it. I live in the neighborhood.
Would you come up, sir, and tell us your name and whatever?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. Samuel Dennis Weaver. I live in the neighborhood that he's talking about, kind of right there where his property line is, or I guess what he's trying to rezone. And now, if they trying to make it where can't nobody build there, I'm all for it, because I don't want nothing behind me anyway. But if he's trying to, like you said, he don't know what the man's trying to do with it. And, I don't really know the terminology, the A1, R1, I'm a new homeowner, but, I'm willing to buy them 3 acres of land, I know that much. But if they're gonna make it where can't nobody build there, I'm all for it. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind personally as well.
If you'll pay for that survey.
No,
the other one.
Does that come out of the price?
All right, anyone else? Anyone who wants to speak in opposition to? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board on time of motion.
Guess I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we approve that the 5 acres go from A1 to R1 with the.
Condition?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the condition.
Actually, portion.
Oh, portion, okay, portion.
Approximately 2 acres from,
Portion, okay, with approximately 2 acres split, with a condition that the 3 acres be absorbed into the neighboring property and remain A1, is that what we're doing? Okay.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion. All right, any other comments or questions? This is on me, yes.
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 All right. Has been approved, and again, please show up on March 4th. Let's see here, Brad and Amberly.
That's it.
Say it again, sir.
Bacho.
Bacho.
Yes, sir.
All right.
They are requesting a conditional use to allow the construction and operation of a meat processing facility on their 30.55 acres. Property is located at 0 Highway 172 in Comer, on map 82, parcel 52-A1 in District 5.
All right, Bacho, you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much about it.
Or explain to the board what you're trying to do?
Just do, custom cuts on cows and, deer processing. Not USDA, nothing like that. Selling to the public.
So you will not be selling to the public,
No, sir.
but you will be processing deers and things like that for,
If a farmer brings me a cow, we can process theirs and give it back to them, but not sell it.
any questions from any board members? Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we will open a public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? For conditional use. Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to speak in favor, in opposition? Please come forward and give us your name and, give us your statement, please, sir.
Thank you, board, for taking time to hear my concerns, and they're just concerns. I am most affected by this because this property wraps around me. What I would like to know, what I would like to have my concerns addressed to, or where he's building it at. I have no problem. I'm a deer hunter. We need processing plants. But right there, we're on a creek that feeds approximately a 40-acre watershed, which is just right at the bottom of the hill. I would like to know if there has been or will there be an EPA study as to, because that's all wetlands back in there as well. Of course, you're gonna have flies, you're gonna have smell. I understand that, we live in the country. Another thing that concerns me is my property value as well. If we decide to, my wife said 5 years we'll build a house up Franklin County. What's it gonna do to my property value there, having a meat cutting place right in that little strip of woods there? Another thing that comes up, like I said, besides the smell and stuff, is he's got a limited area to work with, bless his heart. It's just not the top of the hill and there's wetlands. So I'd like to know if there's gonna be a study there as to the effects of that. Also, the location on the road. If anybody's familiar with this property, we're at the top, my driveway's at the top of that hill, it's a big curve to the left. I had some DOT friends out the other day looked and said, well, if he's gonna have a gut truck and stuff coming here to do this, he's gonna have to have a deceleration lane. That's a terrible place. We got forklift trucks, we got logging trucks, we got school buses, middle school just right up the road. And what we would run out would be the deceleration lane would be right beyond the end of my driveway, which is hard enough to get out there at 7 o'clock in the morning traffic. Or in the evening. I don't know if that's gonna have to be done, but I do know that that land for that deceleration lane is gonna have to come from somewhere. It'd have to be moved over, the right of way be moved over. So those are my concerns. And I think the valid concerns, you know, I'm pulling for them, people wanting to build it on the other side of the chicken house out there in Hall Farm, but where it's at, kind of just throws the whole thing in uproar. Plus it affects, I don't know if it will or not. I've read as much as I could read up on it, if it will affect the wetlands and the lake. Because the stream right by, it's all downhill to the stream, 300 and 400 yards down. So I do not know, so I'm here to express my concerns about it. And I appreciate you hearing the time, taking the time.
Pleasure.
That's my concern.
Sir, can I please have your name?
Sam Claypool, C-L-E-G-H-O-L-E.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cleghorn. Is there anyone else who wants to speak in opposition? Mr. Bacho? Oh, yes, sir. Come on. What's your name and,
Rick Easto. I live across the road, from the affected area, all my life. It's just, I don't know, to me, it was completely against what, I mean, the zoning came in the 80s, right? Where you had agricultural, you know, we opened a business in '89, but we couldn't put it on our property. We went to Madison, where the businesses were supposed to go. And so we went there. So to have a commercial building in the middle of agricultural land, and there ain't nothing else there as far as a business. It's just, you know, like you said, all the stuff he talked about, the traffic, and that is a really bad place. And I don't know how that ain't a floodplain, but, you know, my mother's 83 and she had concerns about it, just like the second here. And so that's our concern, is the traffic, the smell, the flies, just increased everything right there. And like I said, it is a bad little spot in the road right there. Then there's curves up and down. So anyway, I just wanted to voice my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Anyone else in opposition? Mr. Bacho, you want to come back and,
I mean,
talk about some of their concerns, or
the flies,
at least say what you need to say?
how we did it at every other processing place was we put the guts and everything in 55-gallon drums and we'd take it to the landfill. And we don't let them sit more than 2 days. As far as traffic, I don't see a problem with that at all. Wetlands, it's on the top of the hill. My lake is in the back right there, and it's not gonna be going into that at all.
All right. Anything else?
No, this is.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion and entertain a motion.
Oh, I do have a question, because I also had a concern. I see he gave us a letter of intent, how he will get rid of the waste product. But my concern was about 72. Now, does he, DOT?
That'll be a DOT approved,
So he has to go through a DOT?
That will be a DOT issue, not a,
not a county.
Not a county.
It is a state road instead of a county road. If it was a county road, we'd be
Right.
talking to him, but since it's a state, that'll be done.
Yeah, and it's not going to be, large manufacturing, it's just a small.
No,
Yeah, okay.
No.
We just want to clarify.
Right.
Okay.
Can you address the concerns that they might have about the wetlands and the runoff?
The slaughter facility in the state of Georgia will either have to do USDA, or if they would prefer Georgia Department of Ag certification for processing and carry out the business. Doesn't mean that they process underneath it for the purpose of resale, whether in the state or across state lines. That would be USDA or GDA, but if they're processing direct, they'll have periodic check-ins with the Georgia Department of Ag as a registered facility to carry out that process. In that process, they have to meet the state standards for that. So if the county and the condition were to levy in the 55-gallon drums, then that's totally fine with GDA. But if for some reason they said, no, we want a mortality pit, or in this area because of water, we want, in case of drippage, what they call a red water system, it's a septic tank system, the blood and guts instead of mixing in with the fecal matter as well. That's all addressed through that, how they handle the rendered parts. And they may do skinning process,
Right.
horns.
And I'm willing to do either way that works,
Yes.
you know, it doesn't.
With it being close to the water, when the site plan does come in for the deal, that'll be something that gets addressed where it stands, in relation to a floodplain, to the building, and whether or not it does require stormwater, it's gonna be over 2,000 square feet.
It's a good, from the level of the lake, it's a good,
How big?
I'd say 40 feet up on the hill.
How big of a facility are you thinking about building?
40 by 40.
Okay, so he'd be underneath stormwater. I can't do anything with GDOT. What else? I'm sorry, I was getting lost in the.
Well, the floodplain, what you talking, the wetlands?
So long as his septic system for the facility, and that includes the red water, gray or black water, so long as their field lines don't feed into the floodplain, that would be a Department of Health issue and how close they would allow the field lines to come to be and what was in those field lines. The facility itself can't be built in a floodplain, then that all comes into the site plan for a business or a home.
So he will be under some type of regulation.
Oh, yes.
And before, even if it's approved, before any construction or anything can start, he has to meet the state guidelines as far as the wetlands.
Goes in the ground, yes, sir.
All that kind of stuff.
I'm sure you already know there's gonna be a multitude of state departments.
Yes,
They're gonna be a nightmare
Yeah.
before you move forward. But there will be more than just our county, so to say, taking part in his construction, if approved in that point. Because we can approve the condition on the property, and not wishing any ill toward you, brother, but, the health department says, for some reason, you're sitting on top of granite, or the floodplain, the water's too close to our system, there's no way that you can get a field lines in that you need, then that kicks the permit out, because that's the first step in doing so. And then when he, say he got the septic permits from the Department of Health, then he came to us, and in his plan, talking to the Georgia Department of Ag or the U.S. Department of Ag, and they stated, well, he's gonna be approved, but he has to use, eco-friendly dumpsters that have to be covered. That comes into a site plan and everything else. So there's a lot of levels after the conditional use.
All right. Thank you, Christopher, for the explanation. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve, I have a second.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve, conditional use. Any further questions or comments? Lee, I believe it's on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Mr. Bacho, that is approval. Again, we're recommending board. I suggest that you be here March 4th. And you gentlemen, I suggest that you come and tell them what you told us. And they will have the final decision. Yes, sir.
For both parties, just to help understand both sides, I'd recommend reaching out to the Georgia Department of Transportation about a road study, because of the line sight that was mentioned in the curve, proposed traffic, did cover pros and cons.
If there is a problem with traffic, can I run through, which would be a long driveway, but I can run through a different, I've got a pretty big part of the front road right there, so I don't have to be on that bottom side curve either.
That may, be something if y'all are willing to talk, maybe input from the community, and then also taking the Department of Transportation into
Yeah.
that. Because even if you're willing to move it, Department of Transportation may still say, you're gonna have to fit in a detail lane. You know, just because of distance or their requirements, I don't dabble in that, but I'd recommend that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So-
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
The
sir.
next two is, 10 and 11. Mr. James Strickland, 12 has something to do with it, but I think we can take maybe 10 and 11 together and 12.
If it's all, yeah, if it's okay with all the Mr. Stricklands, I suggest all three, because probably 2 out of 3 don't do you any good.
All right.
This is a combined.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, no,
It's actually 3. All right, Ms. Tracy, tell us about it.
okay. First one is James H. Strickland is requesting to rezone his 5.29 acres from A2 to AR to allow approximately 0.55 of an acre to be combined with the adjoining property, map 14, parcel 59A, to get the sun. Property is located at 79 Cole Strickland Road in Hull on map 14, parcel 58 in District 1. And the next one is, he is requesting to rezone his 22.72 acres from A1 to AR and A2. It's a dual rezone. He's requesting an approximately 2.51 acre portion from A1 to AR to be combined with this adjoining property, map 14, parcel 59A, to get the sun, and to rezone the remaining acreage from A1 to A2 to bring it in compliance. Property is located at 191 Cole Strickland Road in Hull on map 14, parcel 59 in District 1. And the third one is Bert Strickland, and he is requesting to rezone his 1.56 acres from A1 to AR to allow the absorption of approximately 0.55 and 2.51 acres from his father's 2 adjoining properties, which is map 14, parcel 58 and 59, into the property as a gift for a total of approximately 4.62 acres. The property is located at 1293 Lucky Jones Road in Hull on map 14, parcel 59A in District 1.
All right. Clear enough. All right, gentlemen, you want to tell us what you plan on doing?
Well, I just want to get everybody into the correct zoning, and I want to get all my properties combined into one zone.
Okay.
What I'm doing is cutting out 5.55 out of one tract on one side of it to make it larger that way, and the 2.51 to make it larger the other way. That way, who knows what's going to happen in the future? It could be crowded in on either side. That way, we don't have to worry about that. Plus, bring it up to the zoning.
All right.
I don't have nothing to add.
Any questions from the board for these two gentlemen? Once again, any questions?
Okay.
Not? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezoning plan? Anyone wants to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none. I'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion. We'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
And we have a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second? Any further questions, comments? If not, Smith?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
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 All right, so that is approved, and, again, our next public hearing will be on March the 4th, right here in this room. All right, Mr. President, number 13, Byron Sexton.
Okay, give me one moment, Bill. Byron Sexton is requesting to rezone his 11.18 acres from A2 to AR to allow a portion of the land with an existing home to be split off to sell and to retain the remaining 7.17 acres. Property is located at 6163 Highway 174 in Danielsville, on map 61, parcel 31, in District 4.
All right, Byron, we've been waiting on this one. Tell us what you need, sir.
Multi property going into Dudley Farm. And there's a house I'm redone on it, I can't live in two houses, I want it rezoned so I can cut off the acreage to sell the house. And I'm gonna retain the other, what is it, 6 point something acres, Tracy?
Yes, sir, it's,
7.17.
7.17, yes, sir.
That's going into Dudley property.
All right, any questions for Mr. Sexton? Any questions for Mr. Sexton? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Sexton.
Thank you.
Open the public hearing. Anyone here wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone will speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion, and I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve this.
Have a motion to approve.
One second.
Second. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Tracy, I see a lot of these little portions are A2. Is that right?
Okay, let me go to that. You talking about the tax map?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So all of those need to come.
Yeah, a lot of non-conforming.
All those what?
I was just saying, there's a lot of small acreage that are A2. And that's what I'm saying. I don't really see any ARs until you get there, but those all should be they're not correct anyway.
Yeah, we're not trying to change those, so.
Okay, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't see any. Yeah. But okay.
All right, any further comments? We have a motion and a second. I believe it's Steph.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Sexton, it is approved. The next public hearing will be on March the 4th, right here in this room. I suggest that you do it there. Number 14.
Okay, Josh Kimball, applicant for his mother Lynn H. Bales, is requesting to rezone her 5 acres from A1 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for her son. The property is located at 374 Hanley Road in Hull on map 27, parcel 17C in District 1.
All right, Mr. Kimball?
How are y'all?
Good.
Good. Thank you for your time. Like Ms. Tracy said, we are looking to bring that lot into compliance into AR. It's currently zoned A1. Currently, the house that is on the property, my almost 60-year-old mother lives there, and her mom, who is 84 now, it's a big property to take care of. My grandmother's memory is starting to fail, and I'm an only child, so it's my sole responsibility to help her take care of that property. Currently, I take care of the rental property that I'm currently residing at, and hers, mow the grass, all the normal stuff that has to happen to take care of a home. So we are looking to put me a home behind her house so I can be on site to help take care of her and my grandmother, help take care of the property, and just be there for when they need me.
All right, sir, any questions from the board? I'll start back from the original house you're going to build your house.
It's roughly about 250 foot. So, what we are looking at is, again, just rough. Her home would be here. Our house is going to be right down here on the edge. Her driveway is this line right here, so there would be not be an additional driveway on Hanley Road. We would just come straight back off of her driveway to the new residence.
So two houses will be, on the same driveway?
Yes, sir.
Is this a permanent stick-built home or a mobile home?
It will be a manufactured home, but it will be on a red mortar brick foundation, not vinyl skirting, nothing like that. It's one of the higher-end homes, so it's full sheetrock, full 2x8 floor joists, 2x6 exterior walls.
Double wide?
It is double wide.
Any further questions? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone here wants to speak in favor of this? Anyone wants to speak in favor of? Hearing none? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want us to know.
Okay, thank you. My name is Neil Mathis. My wife Becky and I live at 10418 Nowhere Road. We built our home 26 years ago, and we've always tried to be good neighbors. We recently received this letter from the Planning and Zoning Department about their request at 374 Hanley Road to be rezoned. Becky and I went over to Mrs. Bell's home to get more information about the letter. So she informed us that she and her son Josh are wanting to set up a double-wide mobile home to be placed behind their house on the 5-acre lot for his son and his family. This double-wide home would back up to our property. In speaking with Ms. Bales, we told her that we're sympathetic to the situation with her son in finding affordable housing in today's market. Initially, I implied to her that we would not oppose this request, but after thinking about it more, we have come to oppose this request. So, if you look at the map and the Google Maps, you'll see that the houses in this immediate area are all stick-built homes. And Ms. Bales' lot is 5 acres, just like the neighbors on each side of her and across the road. Over the years, talking with our neighbors, each of them have expressed that they like their homes on 5-acre lots. And our house is situated on 23 acres of land, and we've enjoyed not being crammed up, with tape on top of each other. We fear allowing this request to go forward would give precedent for a denser neighborhood from what we currently have. So we are in opposition of opening a door that would allow mobile homes and a denser community. Becky and I have worked hard over the past 26 years to make improvements to our property, and we're very concerned about what this will do to our property value. So in light of these factors, we are voicing our opposition. Thank you.
All right, sir. So anyone else want to speak in opposition? Please come forward. State your name and tell us what you want us to know.
Alan Camp, thank you, and I'm just down the catty corner from the home in question, and as Mr. Mathis explained, while we love, the large lots, and we take great care and a lot of maintenance keeping it that way. As Mr. Mathis said, we are sympathetic and we understand, but the precedent, it does worry us for a lot of reasons. Of course, possible decreased property values, and it may open the door, should this be allowed, to change the environment that we're in. Thank you.
All right. Any others? Please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want us to know.
I'm Dennis Smith. I live at 488 Hanley Road, which is right beside the Bales resident. And, like the other two have said, we've been there 23 years. And when we first purchased that, we had the understanding it was 5 acres minimum, you know, and not have one living structure on there. So that's the main reason we bought into that neighborhood. And like they said, you know, my wife's getting a lot older than I am, and she may want to downsize one day and still want the property value, you know, to downsize with us.
You don't have a future, you forget about it.
The cameras look out, the parking lot, on the highway.
But, that's just on our main concern, is we don't want something to start changing in that neighborhood. And there's a lot of other properties around there that would have the ability to put mobile home, or if they so deem, you know, a duplex or something on it, because this will, you know, set precedent that something else could be done in the neighborhood. That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Give us your name and tell us what you want us to know.
I'm John Robinson. I live at 421 Hammond Road, right across the street from the property in question. As everyone has said, we are sympathetic with what's going on across the street from us, but we're afraid that this would set a precedent that would allow other lots and other pieces of property to be broken up to into smaller lots and bring in more housing than what we currently have. We specifically bought out there because of the large lot size, and we'd like to keep it that way. Thank you.
All right, sir. Anyone else? Please come forward and state your name. And tell us if you want to that.
I'm Sherry Hardigree, and I live 2 doors down. And we've been out there 23 years, less than some of these others. And when we bought the land, the reason we bought the land was 5 acres, 1 dwelling, and there were a lot of stipulations. I mean, at the time, you couldn't, back in the day when you had the big satellite dish, you couldn't even put those on the property. So we bought that 5 acres because we wanted to be our house, only our house on 5 acres, and that would be the way the whole street would be, the whole road would be. And it's maintained that through all these years. And so, you know, I've been through a similar situation. My mom passed away in November, and I know how hard it is to take care of an elderly parent. But, you know, hopefully he could find somewhere else that would be more suitable for, you know, for just his double wide. Because if we open up for this to put a double wide on those 5 acres, then who's to say in 3 or 4 or 5 years we may have several on our road, and that's just not what that's why I bought the land when we bought it, was because we knew there were so many stipulations. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Anyone else in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board, close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for discussion, and we'll entertain a motion.
Can I ask the applicant a question? Part of the reason why I asked if this was going to be a stick-built home, these are nice homes on nice lots. I went over to the area. So I kind of felt like this was coming. But in the future, I know that it's hard to look down the road with elderly parents and things like that. Having 2 dwellings on this one parcel, could you foresee this being a temporary structure for you, and at some point putting it back in its original position? I guess for the people who have spoken here, what is your plan down the road, if you will, when your grandmother?
Well, I mean, the plan is to be on property, like you said, take care of my grandmother, and then take care of my mom. She's almost 60. She's single. It's just her. I'm an only child. That's it. It's just me and her, and then my wife and son. What we plan on doing down the road, I'm not sure. You know, our plan for the next 15 years would be to raise our son and be there for my mom and my grandmother as long as she's willing, living. That's why we've chosen that spot on the property to push it back into the far corner. So you should not be able to see much of the house from the road. So, and like I said, it's not something that will be, you know, it's not a basic model double wide. It's a higher end one, but it is still substantially cheaper than the site-built, stick-built home. So that's why that's the route we're going.
All right, any further questions for the applicant? Well, I can give you, my concern is not so much as if it's a double wide or whatever it is, stick built. My concern, it would be more of two residents on that particular size lot, you know, or in that particular area, whether it was stick built or, you know, I understand that the affordable housing today is, it's just out of sight. You know, I can understand why you said mobile home, but that's really not, and this is more from the board, that's really not my concern as much as, you know, is the area set for this type of, to put a second home on those 5-acre lots, simply because everything around there is 5 acres. So anyway, any further questions for the applicant? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Comments from the board before we entertain a motion?
I know we're gonna be looking at accessory dwelling units and our policy. This is one of those classic situations, at least in my mind, where the original home sits on kind of on the back side of the property, and now you're gonna put in an accessory dwelling unit behind that. In the future, if the need were to come to sell one or the other and split that, and it's just gonna be hard pressed to, even if our minimum acreage for an AR is at 2 acres, it's just gonna be hard to split that, for anything that would be suitable. I mean, I know we're not there yet, but we've got a lot to look at as far as ADUs are concerned, but it just kind of, just doesn't.
Well, mine, kind of piggyback off him because we are gonna be discussing it, and I've looked at where that I saw there was a law that you cannot sell the primary residence, I mean, the, accessory without selling the primary, you can't sell them separately. So I don't know where we're at on that, but he does have the acreage for that.
Well, I mean, that's just a function of it being
Yeah.
a single lot.
Yeah.
So it has to be rezoned and split before either one can be sold separately.
Right, so. Yeah, and, as he said, those manufacturing homes look more like real homes now.
That's right.
Any other comments or? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Oh, second.
We have a motion to approve, and we have a second. Any questions, any further discussion? If not, I think it's on Cynthia.
Yes.
No. Tough. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, this is approved by, it's recommended that we approve, recommendation that gives the commissioners at our approval. I would suggest that the applicant show up on March the 4th, and all of you that had opposition to it, show up on March the 4th, because that decision sits mainly on the Board of Commissioners. We will make that recommendation. So, with that, we'll move forward. What's next, Ms. Tracy?
Okay. We are considering amending the agricultural residential zoning district in section 7.3 and Article 8, which is the chart of the zoning ordinance, to reverse the minimum acreage requirement from 4 to 2 acres.
All right, any comments from the board before I open the public hearing? All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of amending the agricultural residential zoning districts from 4 acres to 2 acres? Anyone wants to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want us to know.
I'm Steve Allen. As all y'all know, a developer wants to make as much money as he can. Most of these developers live in a county somewhere else. He's gonna come to a little county like Madison County. That's gonna double the school capacity. He can go back home to wherever he lives at, live in Madison County, worry about the problems he's bringing him. I don't think any of y'all, maybe some, will see Madison County turn into another Gwinnett County, or even a Jackson County. My son lives in a subdivision up in Jackson County, and the houses are stacked right on top of one another. I just don't want to see that happen here in Madison County. I appreciate y'all listening to me.
All right, sir. Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion. And then we'll entertain a motion. And I guess I'll get started. I'll start the conversation. I'm in favor of going back to 2 acres. I think 2 acres works well. I think that when we went to 4, we created a problem with R1s. And, I mean, basically that's my reasoning. But I think we created a bigger problem from going from 2 to 4. So, anyone else?
Thoughts are the same. When it came up, I thought it was going to create more non-conforming, which it did. And I felt that 2 acres was reasonable for homeowners. Then to go to the 4 acres, or the 3.99, then we have to go to the 4 acres. So that was my concern.
Anyone else?
I'll reiterate, I mean, same thing, that doesn't change the back, forth, left, right, up and down. We need, the whole thing needs to be looked at. We're not using R1 properly before, and this isn't gonna change that either. It's that we need to look at, and we need a comprehensive rewrite. So, the definition of insanity to continue to do the same thing, expect a different result once again. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Hey, I resent that.
Fair.
Anyone else?
My contention all along has been zoning is about uses. I just don't feel that you can, the way that we're set up now, I just don't feel that you can utilize the uses listed under AR on 2 acres. It's farming, it's virtually A2 uses on a 2-acre parcel. I just don't feel like you can do that. I understand there is a problem. If we lower it to 2 acres and someone comes in and wants 1.5 acres, we're gonna be faced with the same situation. They're gonna ask for an R1 1.5 parcel in an agricultural area. Are we ready to say no to those because we can't say no to 2 acres? So it does create a problem. I understand that, but I think I would rather us move ahead with our, the firm that we have hired to try to straighten some of this out. I hate to make a change back to 2, only to have a new rewrite and maybe some recommendations come down the road to try to help us fix this. So I'm not ready to move it back to 2.
Any other comments? Well, I'm ready to move it back to 2, because I think to move it was 4 was a mistake in the beginning. Regardless of what we do, even the company that's gonna rewrite it, if you're gonna have R1s that they can have, you still gonna have that problem. Hard decisions have to be made by us, particularly by the Board of Commissioners. So to hide it and say, well, hey, I don't wanna make those hard decisions. Hard decisions are gonna have to be made forever. So,
whatever we do, we don't need to spot zone R1s in an agricultural character area. Just like we don't need to spot zone business zones in a residential area. It doesn't fit. R1s in an agricultural area is just not the way the comp plan is meant to be. So whatever it takes to fix it, I'm all for fixing it. But, like I said, the same question's gonna come up when someone asks for 1.5 acres R1, even if it is changed back to 2. So we need to be ready.
all right, any other comments, and then we're gonna ask for a vote.
Well, I think just the 2 acres, help us with our problem now, the 2 acres, instead of these people keep coming up trying to rezone anyway. That might help us out until we get another rewrite or whatever. And, because I thought it shouldn't have been changed in the first place. But I think it might help us out some if we go back to the 2 acres. And I know what you're saying about spot, but to me, the citizens were showing us, because they're coming back wanting to give their children acreage because of situations that maybe that plan was not what the citizens wanted.
All right.
I make a motion that we approve taking AR back to 2 acres.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we recommend to the Board of Commissioners that we reverse the decision and go back from 4 acres to 2 acres for AR. Any further comments? If not,
Yes.
yes.
No.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we have a 4-2 vote. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that we go from 4 acres back to 2 acres. All right. Tracy, anything else?
No, sir, that's it.
All right, need a motion to adjourn. Second. That's next meeting.
Okay.
That's next meeting. All right. Thank you all.
How are you?
Good, yeah.
Good.
Doug,